we? WandaVision episode 8.
Talk to me about it.
Wow. This is going to be exciting to break down. Such a great episode. Not even an episode, such a great fragment of a movie. And we're going to bust into this and talk about it. I'm Beal.
And I'm Travis, and this is the Travis and Peel Show.
They totally came back from last week, man. This was, oh man.
Yeah, spoiler
I
free.
felt it in my groin, in the bowls, Zach.
Right in your plums. Let's start spoiler free, like always. Peel, what are your thoughts about this episode?
Man, they really brought it in, and like I said right there in the little intro clip, this was not just an episode. This felt like a part of a movie. They really brought it in. It was MCU, which is now Maximoff Cinematic Universe, and not just Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it was great. I really enjoyed it. They went really in depth in a lot of things. They explained some backstory, and really kind of broke down what is happening in this show, and gave us a good glimpse into what can be in store for us going forward. But hey, we still have one more episode. So if you if for some chance have not watched this and you're just somehow catching this, you need to get on it right now, because next Friday is going to be the shit.
Yeah, it's gonna really all come to a head for sure. For me,
what about you, man? You loved it?
Yeah, for me, the penultimate episode was it delivered on my expectations. I felt like we were due kind of like a flashback of some sort of what was going to like how everything started. And I wanted to really, once we got those answers, I needed to feel the emotional heft, and this episode delivered in that. I'm an emotional softie. I'm super empathetic to a fault, and that's what I wanted from this episode, and that is what we got. And I really felt this episode on multiple occasions. I felt this episode, and it is probably my second favorite of the season, if I'm being honest with you. I feel like there was a lot of information that was given to us. If I have any gripes about this episode, I feel like there was some extra information that us as fans and people who have seen the MCU ad nauseum that we didn't kind of need. There's a little extra fluff there. But then I have to think about the fact that there are people who possibly have never seen an Avengers movie and need a little bit of extra context, and that's what a lot of these scenes were for, especially these flashback scenes. So I can kind of understand that. I can respect that for sure. But for the longest runtime of the entire season at 47 minutes, it still felt like it flew by so fast.
I know. It wasn't an hour, but it did fly by. But it was great. So unanimously, yes, we love this episode. Fantastic. And now let's break this bitch down, because there was a lot. There was a good bit in here.
So
lead it off, my friend.
Right off the bat, we have the Marvel Studio logo popping up as purple, showing that Agatha ended that last episode in charge. Yeah. So that was a nice little touch, and then we get a little glimpse into her past. Shockingly, she's hundreds of years old. She is being ridiculed and possibly executed by her coven for using some forbidden dark magic. Also
a reverse Salem witch trial.
Exactly.
Witches. What is up with all this witch versus witch crime? That's what that's why I'm glad we've evolved.
It's got to stop. Yeah. All right.
Totally.
Never forget. So, and also involved in there is her mother, which is cold-blooded. Cold-blooded. But they try to either attack her or absorb her powers or do something to her, but she absorbs their powers, and her purple magic starts sucking their powers from her coven and also her mom, and she kills everyone. Now, interesting, like Agatha showing sympathy, saying that I want to be good. I want to not be what you guys think I am, but they weren't having it.
No, you can't be. That's what her mother said.
That's cold, boy. That's the emotional heft of this episode was really strong, even for her. And I'm a villains guy. I feel like a comic book movie lives and dies by its villain. And
definitely.
Making your villain three-dimensional, actually giving them a little bit of sympathy, I love that. I'm all for that. So the more they can do to make Agatha a complex character, and there's still more that we don't know about Agatha. Like, we don't know what her endgame is. So
Wait,
I'm so for
Endgame.
her, and I'm telling you, dude. I'm gonna call it right here. I'm not gonna call anything, but this is I'm gonna demand something. Catherine Hahn, I want the Emmy. I want the
Oh yeah,
Emmy.
give it to her.
She's been
She's talented.
amazing.
She's
She's
been
been
awesome.
so amazing, and she deserves it. So she's
I
a
mean, the whole
dynamo.
cast has been, but definitely a diamond
She's
shining right there. She's been doing really great, and how different for her to play like this role as such a big budget type deal, you
mm-hmm.
know. So it's really great seeing somebody that you see, and I mean, she hasn't been in like big movies, you know. It's always been these hits, but they weren't like huge blockbusters and everything. So it's really cool
she's
seeing her
had
in this,
bit
even though this
parts.
is a TV
Yeah.
show. This is MCU though. This is big
Mm-hmm.
time, regardless if it's a TV series or a movie.
We're
But
in the
yeah,
major
definitely a great
leagues.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the major leagues now.
So after that, she picks
Oh,
off her. She
whoa, whoa,
picks
whoa,
off her.
whoa.
What's
Let me
up?
stop you right there
Hit
though.
me.
Yo Magic. All
Yo,
right,
magic.
here we go.
Yeah,
Yo
you're right.
Magic. All right, what did all those witches look like? They look like that little boy on the
On
island.
the
That
island.
hard to get into, little nut to
Good
crack at
call
Yo
out, dude.
Magic. That
Good
that
call
hunger,
out.
man. I feel like this is exactly what that is. You know, that hunger that's building inside of her. This is
Mm,
Agatha. This is what this is representing, and then trying to get the powers from
mm-hmm.
other witches and Wanda. Obviously, you can't get in there. But
Very
man,
good.
I
Very
really I
good.
really saw that, and I was like, as soon as it happened, I was like, that's Yo Magic.
I
Anyways, I don't know if I'm true. Let me know if you agree or not.
I did
But
not piece those
proceed.
together. I did not piece those together. So after her mom dies, she picks up the brooch, seeing that it's now a family heirloom, and that's what she carries around with her. I don't know why, if to remember or out of spite or whatever, but that's how she got the brooch. Flash forward to present day, and it's Agatha and Wanda in the basement.
In the basement where we left off last episode.
And there are a few revelations slash questions that I picked out here. One, first and foremost, Pietro. He's been a big question mark all season long
Pietro?
since, Pietro, fake Pietro. He is confirmed that he is somebody that is being possessed. He was not conjured out of
Was
thin
not
air.
Agatha.
He was not brought in by Agatha. He is someone who was there and being possessed, but he does have powers. Those seem real.
Obviously.
Agatha did not give him those. So that lends some serious credence that this is actually the Fox Quicksilver pulled from a multiverse, pulled from another universe. Very interesting.
Very, very interesting.
I did not see that coming. I did not, but I'm actually
Everybody really did think that it was just not going to be it. It was just this nod. We even talked about that. It was
I
this
thought it
little
was a
nudge,
manifestation
Hey,
or
look at
something. Yeah.
this, Evan Peters. But you know what? This really does. It gives credence that it can be the Peter Maximoff.
Now, my personal favorite section of this little tete-a-tete between Agatha and Wanda is kind of gives us a glimpse into the future of Wanda's place in the MCU and everything. So Agatha, Wanda tries to attack Agatha, but Agatha says, "Hey, look, I have placed runes around this room. You know that you can't perform your magic inside a circle of a witch's runes. That's magic 101." Us and Agatha all kind of realizing that, look, Wanda, yes, she's super powerful, and we've seen her kick some ass. She knows nothing about magic, about the basic tenets of magic, and I
Just
love
raw
that
power.
scene.
That's all it is.
She's just like unfettered chaos power, and we all realize that, and we have to remember that. Yeah, we just see her as a kick-ass superhero, but she doesn't know anything about magic. She's never been trained, and I think that kind of gives us a glimpse about her future, because we know that she's going to be in Doctor Strange 2, and then we're going to possibly see Doctor Strange teach her how to properly harness magic and how to properly use it. And I love that possibility of her having this Spider-Man Tony Stark relationship with Doctor Strange. I think those two will match up very well in future movies. So I'm all for that. My favorite part of the scene by far was that. So good.
It was amazing, because when you allude to that, that's exactly what it is. He took all of his time, used all the powers and tricks of the trades to be able to learn everything that he could, being a doctor and like one of the most brilliant doctors and surgeons in the world. He took that study and ethic and that tenacity, and he studied magic. He made it possible to become the sorcerer supreme and overall, magic protector of pretty much this section of the universe. So for him to be at that level, and then you have this 100% pure unadulterated power who knows nothing about how to use it. So yeah, it's gonna be
And
really cool, like you said, having that mantle of like that Tony Stark type leader and father figure taking over with Doctor Strange going to Wanda. So
yeah,
I'm really gonna enjoy that too. It's gonna be
and
really fun seeing this
you talked about
expand and watching her become as powerful as
yeah.
we know that she is.
Yeah, you talk about training too, in regards to Doctor Strange having a little bit but learning a lot in such a like small period of time. Wanda being so powerful but not learning anything. Agatha in the rune circle when she's facing off with Wanda says, "Hey, look, see this little thing? This I made a cicada turn into a bird and flew it around the house. This took me years to learn
transmutation.
years." And then you just figured all of this stuff out, or not figured out, but you were able to perform this with zero training. How did you do
Magic
that?
on autopilot.
On autopilot. So, yes, she's trying to figure out how she did this without any training. And my question is, so this immediately made me ask, what does Agatha want to save, bring back, rebuild with this power? With this ability that Wanda has shown to have, because now that Agatha sees it in the flesh, so to speak,
She wants it. She wants it bad.
She's gonna get it. She's gonna get.
She's gonna put that magic at home.
So this so in Agatha's journey to try to figure out where this power comes from or how this power manifests from within Wanda, she sends Wanda on kind of like a Ghost of Christmas Past journey. And we get a series of flashbacks.
It up.
We get a series of flashbacks, aka reruns. And we start off with Wanda, the day the bomb went off and killed her family, and we get a deeper glimpse on what was happening there, and we get a lot of understanding about Wanda as well. For instance, that she spent a lot of time with her family watching TV, watching a whole bunch of sitcoms. So this is why sitcoms are such a big deal about this season. They watched Malcolm in the Middle. They watched Dick Van Dyke Show. They watched the Addams Family, Bewitched. They watched all those shows. That's how they learned how to speak English, is from these shows. So that
was the whole point of it, was for them to learn how to speak English. So that was really cool, and that connection that they had as a family with this.
Now, a big revelation, we found out that her parents are not the two people from the commercials. We don't know who those people are.
We were all wrong.
We look like clowns.
We were all wrong.
The whole internet was.
You look like an asshole.
So
more of that to come.
Yeah, for sure. So I feel like this episode did a lot of subverting of expectations, especially for me.
Oh yeah, there's so many moments that there's things you're just like, oh well, we're a dick.
So this is one of those moments where I alluded to where the bomb goes off and Pietro and Wanda are stuck under the house as children. Their parents are dead, and they are staring at the Tony Stark bomb, and they sit there for 2 days watching it beep, wondering when Tony Stark's going to kill him. We actually get to see that happen. Look. This WandaVision runtime, all these runtimes, it's like gold, all right? Precious gold. Me, as an Avengers fan, I feel like I didn't need to see this. We could have used this to develop more storyline. But
part of this 47 minutes could have been better used.
But like I said, I got to respect that some people may not have seen those films, and they need that extra context and everything. So this allowed to do that. Now, it did hint an important idea that Wanda did have magic before it was activated with the Mind Stone.
Exactly, my friend. They talk about this. You used a probability hex on the missile. And how long were you there? How long did this take? All of this chaos and problems and issues and death around you, and you're all hunky-dory, sitting here safe.
And a probability hex...
Like, no, that's not it.
A probability hex essentially is your ability to affect luck. Which makes sense.
And that's one of the big parts of Wanda / Scarlet Witch from the comic books. It's always been hexes and probabilities, kind of like a domino with, like the Deadpool and like more in the X-Men things. That's what's kind of like. So it's really cool that they finally mentioned this because this is actually like the root of what, Scarlet Witch was. It was probabilities and hexes and changing the possibility of what could happen. So it was really cool that they did bring that in, and that's how it started with her powers, which then goes right into the next door.
The next flashback,
because we see that Agatha's bringing her through these to unveil how she got to be where she is now, because she doesn't know and she wants to do it. So she used the spell with her hair and everything. And so
Mm-hmm.
we got the parents thing, and then we go right into being with Hydra, and
Mm-hmm.
of course the Mind Stone being used with the scepter.
Yeah,
So
we have
this was another
Loki's.
really big scene.
Nice to see Loki's scepter pop back up. And
Yep.
yeah, my personal favorite part of the entire episode. She temporarily breaks open the blue scepter, or the gem of the scepter, to unveil the Mind Stone, and the Mind Stone fully activates her X gene, one would think. And she gets her powers. A couple of interesting things. My favorite part about it, she gets a future glimpse of who she is to become. We see a dark silhouette of a caped, powerful, bursting with magic, wearing the crown, the headdress
Yep.
of Scarlet Witch, kind of like floating towards her, and then boom, she's knocked back. Now, obviously, fully powered up. Very interesting that the security footage that Hydra looked at, there was a gap in the time, very similar to what she did with the WandaVision show when she didn't want people to
Censoring
see.
everything in WandaVision. Yep.
So yeah, the video
It
was
just showed her
censored.
standing there and then on the ground.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. Nice little touch.
So this was mostly just a boost. This wasn't, giving her the powers, how it was kind of talked about or
Opening her
alluded to
mind.
before.
Yeah.
This was, more of the expanding her, kind of like, Doctor Strange, open your third eye, see everything.
Absolutely.
And this is what that really was. And yeah, you saw the actual power of the Mind Stone and the scepter entering her in these bright yellows that are like going in and infusing her with this power. So it's really cool seeing that. And then of course not Wanda, but Agatha, sees like, oh, so you got a little bump up from, an Infinity Stone. I see. Kind of opens you to more possibilities. And then we go into the next scene, which is actually right after the death of her brother. And it is Vision and her having like their first moment together, as a possibility, not even intimate moment, just the moment of real connection between two souls. I'm not going to say between two people, because obviously, Vision.
Hey, Vision's a person. Okay?
Between two souls. So it was really nice to see this, and go into how these two connected. Obviously,
Yeah.
she's sitting there watching Malcolm in the Middle, and Vision, phases through the wall, and they start having this conversation. Hey, how are you doing? I'm so sorry about this.
That was a
just
good
how
little callback.
disconnected they are.
That was a good little callback from Spider-Man: Homecoming, where Happy is talking to Peter, saying, "Hey, we're gonna bring you into the Avengers. We got you a room right next to Vision. I gotta warn you, he's not a big fan of doors." And what does Vision do? He floats right through the wall, intrudes on her privacy, but she doesn't seem to care, because when you're in grief, sometimes you want someone to talk to. Sometimes you need a confidant, and that's what Vision was there for. And it was so great, one, to see pre-Infinity War Vision come back, because we haven't had this Vision all season long, but this is like the true Vision that we're used to. And it was nice
inquiring
to see
mind, somebody who was learning and feeling so much new things,
an
like so many new
inquiring
things.
mind, but yet he was so respectful. Like it's so easy for him to just be a robot and be pragmatic and be stoic, and he wasn't like that. He was like caringly observant, but also had questions, and like you just felt like he cared the entire time. And man, just to see her in such total agony and grief, and then explain to her like how he views grief. Like he's had such a short lifetime at that moment, but he just gets grief. And what is the quote, man? Like you
He said, "What is grief if not love, persevering?"
persisting or persevering. Yeah, that is
Right.
just telling her that, like, all she needed to hear was that. She needed to hear that, look, you're hurting. This sucks, and it's gonna hurt for a little while. But you're hurting
Because
this
of how
bad
much you love.
because you love, and eventually that love is going to take over, because you don't know it yet. I'm gonna be that next love for you, and like it's going to be okay. Great little moment.
Agatha gave a little.
Yeah, I love that. I was just about to say that. Like it actually made Agatha emotional, which I thought was pretty strong. And then into the next flashback.
Man, the sword compound, huh?
A lot of interesting stuff in this one. A lot of interesting stuff. So she,
This is where it got good. This was the information that we needed as MCU fans. This was the nuts and bolts of kind of getting into the backstory of this. Just going into, hey, what happened? First off, remember, Wanda vanished, during the blip, or not during the blip, during the snap, because the snap is when they first got rid of them. Blip is when they came back. But during the snap, she got dusted. So, like she said, I've been gone. When I came back, I know you guys have them. So she's searching for Vision. She needs closure. She needs something. And she goes, to the sword compound, and she's demanding to see him. Gets let in, and goes right to Director Hayward. Gets to meet him. Hey,
a
very
great
nice
little
guy. You know what? Hayward's not so bad. He was very
accommodating,
accompanying and cordial and very
absolutely
sweet, and seemed very supportive to Wanda and her needs.
What a dick. What a dick. He immediately, without hesitation, shows her soulmate's mutilated body, clearly baiting her into some sort of reaction, which you can only guess that he's not had much luck in the last 5 years of activating Vision for his own nefarious purposes. So he was trying to get Wanda to do his dirty work for him. He is constantly referring to Vision as an object and not as a person. Clearly being
the most powerful sentient weapon.
Just being super cold. $38
billion worth of vibranium.
I thought that, he was just massively disgusting to her. And then she just can't take anymore. She busts the glass, goes down there. He allows the guards to let her pass, and then
let's see what happens here.
Probably the most heartbreaking moment. She's trying to feel him, and it recalls back. She's trying to get a sense of any piece of Vision in there, and it recalls back to a moment in Infinity War, which is a really loving moment between the two before the shit hits the fan, where they're talking about the Mind Stone, and Vision's like, I don't really know what this thing is, and she goes to feel it and everything like that, and he's like, what do you feel in there? And she simply says, I just feel you. Beautiful, beautiful moment. And then it is, when you compare it to this, how heartbreaking this scene is. She just says, I don't feel you anymore, which broke me down, man. It broke my heart when she did that. And in a shocking move, she does nothing and leaves.
She does not steal Vision's body. She does not cause a scene.
Yeah, so in episode 5, when Hayward told Monica and everybody that she broke into the sword facility and stole his body and resurrected him, he was lying flat out about that whole thing.
What?
Clearly, he had plans for Vision, and he didn't want Monica to find out. He went as far as saying, "Oh, Monica's back. All right, welcome back to Sword. You're immediately leaving." So it makes sense why he sent her on this bullshit case, or what he thought. He didn't know anything about Vision at first. He thought it was a bullshit case. But it's going to end up biting him in the ass once Monica finds out the truth, because, well, we're going to find out that he's going to let the cat out of the bag himself eventually. But we are not there yet. We are getting there.
Not yet.
So in her grief, she gets back into her car, and there's a envelope. And then before we see what's in the envelope, she starts driving.
We don't even know what it is. She's driving to Jersey.
Yep, driving to Jersey, and she ends up in Westview. The town has seen better days. Obviously, it was massively
beat up town,
massively affected by the snap. But she gets there. We see some blip. We see some faces. We see some recognizable faces. We see Mr. Hart's wife. Still haven't seen Mr. Hart.
Herb.
Still haven't seen Mr. Hart since the
first episode. Yeah, scene. We still haven't seen Ralph either, but we'll get to that.
We saw Herb. We saw the delivery guy, who is a pizza guy, the mailman / delivery guy. He's just a pizza guy. So again,
Newman,
subverting expectations that this guy ended up being nobody. We spent all season being like, who is he? Who is he?
There is still an episode left, Travis. So do not downgrade this. There's an episode left. That pizza delivery guy seemed really sketchy, like he has in every other scene. Why'd they even show him?
I've come to the conclusion.
That's Mephisto.
I've come to the conclusion, Peel, that everyone that we've seen so far is who they are. They are who we thought they are.
Yeah,
and that's who they're going to be. I don't know. I think Dottie's nobody. I'm at this point. I'm tired of thinking that
Where were
someone
all
is
the
somebody
kids?
else.
I don't know. Yeah, we all look like fools for a lot of things, just assuming and guessing and totally speculating on
Yeah,
so many
I'm
things in this
done. There, there,
show.
there
And
is
it's just
gonna
like, oh, they're
be,
just
there is
a
gonna
regular ass
be
person.
no Mephisto. There's gonna be no Nightmare. There's gonna be no major big bag behind the scenes, pulling the strings. I think the way this season's going, we are going to get our major antagonists lined up for the big final battle. Um, so
I
uh,
think there's still gonna be a little more surprise. They promised it. There's gonna be something big.
so we get to up kind of like an empty lot, kind of like just like a foundation
No
of a house.
cul-de-sac.
Yeah. And she opens up the envelope that was in her car, and it is the deed to a lot. And
Where we can grow old together.
yep, handwritten note from Vision saying that this is their future home that they got for him. Our name's on the deed. And that is the straw that breaks the camel's back. And in a huge revelation, we find out that she had zero help from anything except her grief. She drops to her knees and conjures the hex single-handedly. And
Which
then
is just love, baby. That's all it is.
And then once she conjures the hex, she's inside the house that she built up from nothing. And then the power of the mind gem kind of comes from her chaos magic. And then she builds Vision from scratch. Kind of making sense why.
Where I'm going to stop you.
Go ahead.
Where I'm going to stop you. So even like you said, and in the scene that was, so touching, that went back to like Infinity War, she said, "All I feel is you." And like we talked about, and as we saw with that Mind Stone entering her when she was awoken, woke Wanda, as we like to call her in the hood. She expelled that power, and we saw that create Vision. I don't care. Everything else was Wanda. It was red. It was glittery. It was wiggly woos. This was the same color and the same consistency of what was going inside her when she was opened up to like her powers, and it created Vision of what she knows. And when you said, only thing I feel in the Mind Stone is you, this is what she created. She created him.
Yeah.
And that's why he also doesn't know I'm an Avenger, any of those kind of things, because this isn't his physical body or
It's not
the,
him,
like,
yeah.
the input and data centers that ultimately create Vision. This is the Mind Stone entity, the soul of Vision recreated in the hex and can only live
You see,
in the hex.
if I felt it was that, I feel like he would have his memories. And I just feel like this is.
But he does have some, though. He has the feelings between them, the love and the connection. He just doesn't remember everything.
Because that's what Wanda made for him. I think that she just remembers his. She's kind of like building him by memory, in a way. But only the parts that she wants to build, which is the love, the companionship. That's the only part that she was interested in. So I think that like him leaving the hex for a short time and him breaking down and disintegrating, him having zero memory of, you mentioned it, having zero memory of anything pre-hex, it just goes to show that he is just a figment of her imagination. He is not, he's just comfort for her. He's comfort.
Other thing this was, which is something that you mentioned a few weeks ago, and then I saw it this past week in like a meme form, which was the stages of depression, and we finally got acceptance in this episode. She accepted everything, and that grief filled her, and that's what created ultimately WandaVision.
Yep.
So yeah, that was very powerful. Obviously, everything goes to black and white again. We see the creation of this world, and then of course she goes in the color, goes right into character. She's so smiling, and Vision's there. Welcome home, Wanda. And they sit down and they go into the routine where we kind of pick up, obviously, in the show. So then that backs out, and now we're back in the real world, right? You like Agatha. Or not necessarily in the world, but we see the studio set that she's living in now, and Agatha kind of running the show. Agatha all along, right?
Yep. And then so it kind of shows that Agatha's giving her a slow clap from where the studio audience sits, and kind of realizing that Agatha learned everything that she needed to learn about Wanda, and then hightails it out of there to go back to the real world. And next thing we know, Wanda's looking out for her kids. She's released from the magical spell from the basement. She runs out to go find her kids and finds Agatha Harkness in full MCU gear. full witch
Full
regalia.
regalia. Yeah, she took that old outfit from like that
Yeah.
old lady looking thing, and really kind of like fucking punked it out. It was really
Very,
cool. Kind of
very
how they did with
hocus
like
pocus
Wanda.
in a way. Very hocus
Ish,
pocus.
yeah.
A little
Yeah, I
bit. I
guess
like it.
Got to allude back to the
I dig
little
it.
old school game. I liked it. I really thought it was cool. Her
Yeah.
whole look and aesthetic and everything was really awesome. But as she's like lassoing these kids by their neck, with
Yeah.
like her magical wiggly woos.
Yeah, so Tommy and Billy are held hostage, and this is where Agatha presents all of her findings that Wanda has been using chaos magic, which is call out number 1 from the comics, and then call out number 2 is that she is the mythical Scarlet Witch.
The fabled, the you're not supposed to exist. You're a fairy tale that mother witch tells their daughter witch, to kind of scare them at night. And so we get the name Scarlet Witch finally.
And then
it's
boom,
been years. It's been Wanda Maximoff, and now we get Scarlet Witch, and then like I said, boom.
Cut the credits.
No, please stand by.
No, please stand by.
That's
Very
gone now.
interesting. Hey, I asked for it. They listened to me. I said no more, and they didn't give it to us anymore. So there we go.
As of last week, because everything was caught up to date and the realization of acceptance was coming this episode, it no longer went from being WandaVision, it went from being MCU.
That's right.
Since Endgame, we now had last week we had our first post-credit scene, and then we got it again this week.
Gotcha. That's right. Yeah. I dig that.
We are now MCU, baby.
We are now full MCU. And in full MCU fashion, we got yet another mid-credit scene. And this one, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call in the biz a doozy. So we get back to Hayward. Just like last week, we don't get too much of Hayward. But what we get this week is huge. He says, we are ready to launch. And we walk into his small base, and we see what, in fact, he is launching. And they have pulled out, from the comic books, Spectral Vision, the white, cream-colored Vision from the comic books. He is here. It is the physical embodiment of Vision from the MCU, which is really, really depressing, like super sad.
No Mind Stone.
It's so sad. No Mind Stone.
He is a computer.
No Mind Stone. Yeah, he is just a physical shell of pure power. And he was powered up. The missing link for Hayward was using Wanda's magic, which was carried over from the drone that they sent in that had remnants of her power on it.
The magic was engulfed over it, just encompassing this drone and everything. And they were able to harness that, which is kind of weird how they were able to get the technology to do that, or find the way to do that, to power up, this new Vision, very pale, very white. And people have seen this character. They might not realize they have. This character has been around in, video games.
Long
this character,
time.
Was obviously in the comic books. It's something that you've seen, but you probably never realize, oh shit, that was Vision.
Yeah, he is a very, very depressing version of the Vision. Wanda and Wanda and Vision have been in a relationship for quite some time. I forgot what it is exactly that happened to Vision, but he was destroyed, put back together, but they could not put him back together whole, and he became back as this white Vision with no emotional connection to who he was in the past, just a physical not a manifestation, but a physical embodiment of the Vision, but none of the emotional or social aspects of him. Those are all gone, and he even splits from Wanda, saying, I have no reason to have a connection with you.
Yeah,
and leaves to go to the West Coast Avengers and everything. So it's a super, super depressing thing in the comic books, and it's really sad here seeing that essentially the corpse of a character that we hold in high regard is being used like that. And it's setting up
a lot.
Yeah, and it's setting up a huge, huge battle. We have Wanda versus Agatha. We have possibly Vision versus Vision, which is really interesting. Yeah, that's going to be cool.
We're having a 2020 Vision. I don't know.
Pietro's still in there.
Pietro, yeah, he's still around.
What if
we got the kids?
What if
we have a lot of things? Senior Scratchy. What is that going to be? We have a lot of things.
What if Vision wakes up Pietro? That would be cool. That would be really, really cool.
Now no rabbit holes. We're not the type of show.
Yeah, we're not that
However,
type of
we
show.
would like to know what you think about this past episode, and you can go ahead and share your theories about us online, Facebook, Instagram, right here on YouTube. We are looking forward to hearing from you, and thank you so much to everybody who is watching. And please make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and set a notification. We are constantly doing stuff, and there's so much more than WandaVision, and we have so much more stuff coming this year. So until next time, my friends. Peace.
Bye.